Meet Jerry, How Plants Create Glucose. In this chapter, we go back millions of years to the invention of the most important biological process on Earth, photosynthesis. Without it, there would be no plants. Without plants, there would be no glucose. And without glucose, there would be no life as we know it. The beginning of life. Long ago, Earth was mostly water and mud. No trees, no animals, no humans. Then something revolutionary happened. A tiny plant figured out how to turn air and sunlight into food. The author calls this first genius plant, Jerry. The big discovery. Plants don't eat dirt. For a long time, people believed plants were made from soil. In the 1600s, scientist Jan Baptist van Helmont tested this idea. He planted a small willow tree in 200 pounds of soil and waited 5 years. After 5 years, the tree gained 164 pounds. The soil barely changed. Conclusion? Plants don't grow from dirt. So where did the mass come from? The answer? Air. Photosynthesis, Jerry's genius trick. Plants combine carbon dioxide from air, water from soil, sunlight, energy, and turn them into glucose. This process is called photosynthesis, also known scientifically as the Calvin cycle. Glucose becomes the fundamental building block of plants. Everything in a plant, trunk, leaves, roots, fruit, is built from glucose. What happens to glucose? Once plants create glucose, they can use it immediately for energy, store it for later, transform it into other substances. And this is where things get interesting, because these forms of glucose are exactly what we eat. 1. Starch. Stored energy plants can't photosynthesize at night, so during the day, they make extra glucose and store it. They link thousands of glucose molecules together into long chains. This stored form is called starch. Starch is found in potatoes, rice, wheat, corn, beans, lentils, oats, root vegetables. When the plant needs energy, it breaks starch back down into glucose. So when we eat bread or pasta, we are eating stored glucose. 2. Fiber. Structure and strength. Instead of linking glucose hand to hand like starch, plants can link glucose hand to foot. This creates fiber. Fiber gives plants structure. Tree trunks, leaves, branches. It's what keeps plants upright. And interestingly, paper is made from fiber. So if you're reading a physical book about glucose, you're literally reading glucose printed on glucose. Notcher 3, fructose, sweet attraction. Glucose itself is sweet, but plants convert some glucose into an even sweeter molecule, fructose. Fructose is concentrated in fruit. Why? Because plants want animals to eat fruit. Inside fruit are seeds. Animals eat the fruit, seeds travel, plants spread and survive. It's evolutionary strategy. 4. Sucrose, table sugar. Sometimes glucose and fructose link together. This forms sucrose. You know it as table sugar. So white sugar? It originally comes from plants. Big takeaway of this chapter. Every form of carbohydrate we eat comes from one original molecule. Glucose, starch, fiber, fructose, sucrose. They all begin with photosynthesis. Plants turned sunlight into sugar, and that single innovation made all complex life possible. Why this chapter matters. If Chapter 1 explained why glucose is important for your body, Chapter 2 explains where glucose comes from. Understanding this is crucial because when you eat starch, it becomes glucose. When you eat sugar, it becomes glucose. When you eat fruit, it affects glucose. Everything leads back to that one molecule. Glucose is not the villain. It's the foundation of life. The problem isn't glucose itself. The problem is how much and how fast it enters your bloodstream. And that's what the next chapters begin to explore.